I do find this funny that we've gotten the top 10 worst states to drive in, and this comes in from Quote Wizard, which is like an insurance expert. So, of course, they've got all the statistics.
Mm-hmm.
So this is taking into account speeding tickets, DUIs, car accidents, traffic citations, and car-related fatalities. And number 10 is Arizona, which I don't agree with because Arizona was probably like the greatest state I've ever driven in. Like I'd be doing 85 and get up on someone's ass. They get over in the right lane, I pass them. I seriously hit my brakes twice in Arizona. That was it on the highway. Number 9, Washington. I can agree with that because you have Seattle traffic and trying to rush to the mountains and all that shit. Number 8, Colorado. I seriously thought we would have been worse.
I thought we would have been worse too, and the reason for that, I think personally, is just the fact that we have so many, like hardly anybody in Colorado is from Colorado. So you get all these other people, especially when they're coming from the Midwest, who are crazy drivers. You get people coming from California, from Western New York, from all these other places, and then they all come here. So they all have their different weird driving styles, and then they all don't mesh together well. So
or they've never driven in snow.
Or they've never driven in real snow, or mountains, or twisty roads. So...
And part of that also, I think, is Denver because it'll be so nice down there, and then it gets snow and the shit hits the fan. It was like right before Black Friday. They got like that 2-foot storm, and I went down 2 days after it, and they still hadn't plowed anything.
Right.
And I was literally driving on sidewalks because I had to go pick up all the merchandise for the store, and like people with fucking high-end SUVs just high-centered or spinning because they had shit-ass tires. And I'm like, you have a fucking all-wheel drive. And you got shit-ass tires. But, yeah, I thought Colorado would have been higher for sure.
Yeah.
Number 7, North Dakota. I've been there once by train.
That one almost makes sense to me because there's nothing to do up there other than
get drunk.
And it's gnarly weather up there, so the roads are
you know what it is. It's all the oil workers getting drunk and just getting rowdy.
Exactly. So that actually kind of makes sense.
South Carolina.
I've never
driven
family
there,
but I couldn't really speak to the driving, honestly, personally.
Number 5, Nebraska. I understand why Nebraska made it. If you've ever driven through Nebraska, you go as fast as you fucking can to get through there. Literally, they're probably the worst drivers just because of speeding tickets, because everyone's trying to get through that fucking state as fast. Nebraska is god-awful. Worst fucking state. Number 4 is Maine, which Marcus and I drove to Maine one time for when he was still in high school to take him to USASA Nationals. And like every couple hundred feet there's signs that say brake for moose, it could save your life. And I was like, yeah, right. And then I saw a moose and I was like, holy fuck, that thing will kill you if you hit it.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh my god.
Mythbusters did a moose thingy. Because there's the myth that if you go fast enough, then because the mooses are so tall, if your car is low enough, then you just crush through their legs, but their body doesn't fall fast enough in order to impact the car.
Well, no.
100% horseshit. You will die.
No, the secret to hitting any animal is to speed up and pull the e-brake because it's the rear brakes and the front end of the car picks up and then it'll launch them. You're more likely to survive. I don't know. That's what the kids
generally speaking, try not to hit animals.
I don't know. I've only ever been in a vehicle one time when we hit a deer. It was the Red Bull van. And that fucker flew. We gave that little bastard wings, and it just like sailed right across the hood of the van. And I just remember like we hit it, and I was like, oh, it's flying. And I was like, the guy driving, his name was Soup, and I was like, Soup, we hit a deer. He's like, yeah, we should go look at it. So we get out there, and he's like, you think it's dead? And I'm like, well, I hope so. I'm standing on it. And then I went and told the guy where it was, and he went and cut it up and turned it into stew.
Nice.
That's the kind of backwoods people I dealt with in New York.
At least somebody ate it.
Yeah. I actually had some of it. It wasn't that bad. Number 3 is Virginia, which is for lovers, which is weird. So I don't know how I feel about that one. But number 2, California. Is that any surprise? You live there.
No, absolutely not. The second, I lived there for a year and it rained 3 times. But those 3 times that it rained, the world stopped. They had no idea how to drive in the rain. So imagine anywhere else. Now, granted, this is also SoCal, and basically Northern California and Southern California are 2 different states, let's be honest. But Southern California drivers are ridiculous. I also had a point where at a merger, so I think it was 5 turned into 10 going left and stayed 5 going to the right. And right at that junction where they hit, somebody was parked right there. No idea why. But
It's California. They do
I'm
what they want.
going off to the right here, and then they just decide to start moving and coming into me and coming into me and coming into me. And luckily, I basically just slammed on the brakes, and thank goodness I was in a big enough car that I just kind of drove up on the Jersey barrier and backed down, and nothing
Oh, is that
actually
when you got
happened.
that dent?
No, that was when I drove into a Jersey barrier. I just kind of ran into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just don't pay attention at all.
No, they're so self-absorbed.
That's the biggest thing with California drivers. They just don't pay
And they don't understand that the left lane is for passing. Holy
No.
fuck, they do not get that. When I was out there in October for my friend's wedding, I was doing like 90 in the HOV lane and just passing people because they'd be like pretty much parked in the right lane, 2 lanes or 3 lanes. Just fucking, which is cool. Like, that's how it should be. You should be passing on the left. But it was so weird, like, because I would just get in the HOV lane and just blow. I didn't realize it was an HOV lane, and I was just. I probably did like 80 miles on the HOV lane, and there's probably a warrant out for my arrest or something in California. I don't know.
Whatever.
But I mean, that's how it should be. You should always be passing on the left.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just so funny. Like, they literally, like, you got 4 or 5 lanes, and they are camped out, going slow as fuck. And then if they do decide to get in the left lane, they just slow down. That was the weird one. Like, I passed on the shoulder like 4 or 5 times out by Van Nuys, just over it. I was like, you suck. But yeah, and then I had some dude in a SoCal Brodozer. Like, I don't know what his deal was. I think he was just pissed I was from Colorado and saw my Colorado plates. He was trying to fuck with me, so I got Geartronic so I can shift when I want to, and I just kept dropping into gear, get him up on my ass, take off, cut back around, drop down like in the right lane, come up behind him, then blow past him on the left, and I fucked with him for like 20-something miles that way, just not giving a shit. I was like, no one cares that you got a 2-wheel drive truck with a lift kit, bud.
No, not
like, fucking weird. But the speeds, like, I mean, you were consistently doing like 90, 95. It'd be bumper to bumper 95. I mean, the only time I've ever experienced something like that was in Seattle and in a rainstorm. And that was like, just like, yeah, California's something else. But the number 1 worst state to drive.
Which, when I saw the list, I was like, yeah.
This,
I wasn't surprised. It was satisfying, actually. To
yeah,
see.
Utah.
Utah. You guys are terrible.
You go to Utah and drive, you're just going to die, I've decided.
Yeah.
Like, this explains why the canyons are always backed up with people spun out and shit. Like, they just... I don't know, man. Pray to Joseph Smith or something because you're not driving. That's for sure. It's just fucking some next level shit there, man. It's and Utah's another transient state. And the funny thing is, it's a lot of people from Colorado move there, so it just further proves that people in Colorado can't drive. They just happened to move to Utah.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It was pretty funny to see, like, you got...
The list was funny. The one that kind of blew my mind, having been there a lot now, is Michigan. Is number 47.
Really?
Yeah, they don't slow down when it snows.
No.
They go faster.
Yeah, in their rear-wheel drive Mustangs.
And yeah, none of them drive appropriate cars for the fact that they live that far north. They're basically Canada. And none of them drive cars appropriate for that. And so that makes me question
Detroit,
the data.
The motor city.
That makes me question the data a little bit, because what?
They can't even fix their infrastructure.
No. Their road. Yeah, that's the other piece of it, is their roads are some of the worst roads I've ever been on. Ever. They're like... Oh, so,
literally...
At number 47, I am shocked.
It's okay. New York was 38, and that's where I grew up, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
You people don't know how to... While I was back in New York for Christmas, I have road rage. I don't deny this. I constantly yell at dumb motherfuckers. I was yelling at like a 60-year-old man the other day on the way to a basin because the left lane is for passing. He decided that he was going to drive in the right and the left lane in his truck and then abruptly hit the brakes and then stop and look at me like it was my fault. I was trying to pass him. And he had Pennsylvania plates, which Pennsylvania is 34, so that's really close to New York. So this is where I'm going with this. But growing up in New York, like, they're not good drivers. They're not. And most people's cars are just getting eaten away by rust, so they might break at any, like, literally just disintegrate in front of you. It's like, I had a car that the frame actually rusted through. Like, through. Like, you put your hand through it. But yeah, New York. I don't know where I'm from. Like, we get lake effect snow, so I just go blow donuts all the time. Why I kind of fucked up my mom's cars, but she doesn't need to know that unless she's watching this, which she probably is.
Well, now she knows.
It's okay. If she says anything, I'll put her in the fucking nursing home.
Ah.
Yeah. Revenge is sweet when you get older and your parents are old.
Indeed.
But, yeah, you know what's really funny? Florida was 49.
I know. That's another one that blows my mind because the entire panhandle of Florida is drunk right now. And probably high on meth. So,
And fighting an alligator.
yeah. So and maybe that's what it is. None of them have cars out there. They just have boats.
That would explain why they can't drive when they see snow. Because, like, everyone from Florida, there's this weird thing where everyone from Florida, especially out in the Panhandle, is moving to Colorado right now.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, a lot of people moving out here with convertibles in the winter. Like, why the fuck you bringing a convertible?
This is Colorado. I
Like,
don't know if you're aware.
But my favorite was the girl that was like, "What do you mean I have to have snow tires?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, they're designed for driving in the snow." But they're like, "What do I do in the summer?" I was like, "Well, up here you leave them on because we're only going to have summer for 2.5 months.
Right.
But anywhere else you would swap them out back to your summer tires. So I have to swap them out?" And she couldn't fathom this as I watched her go get into her rear wheel drive and hammer on the gas and just and creep along. And it was like the weirdest.
Yeah, they think that like, it must not be going very fast. Might as well use more gas pedal.
Yeah, and then it catches, and then they wonder why they run into things. Which I almost got T-boned by some dumbass from New York the other day. Like, stupid chick, fucking all-wheel drive Subaru with bald-ass tires just sliding around. She tried to gun it through an intersection that I had the right-of-way. I was coming through, and she, like, almost hit me. Rolled the window down and was screaming at her. And she, like, freaked out, and she tried to, like, drive around me. And I was just like, I've won. I was screaming about, like, you can't fucking drive. Leave the goddamn state. Go back to New York. No one fucking likes you here. Doing my part to help control our tourist population. So, I don't know. Maybe one of our fans out there in podcast land thinks that their state's the worst. I want to hear some awful, like, mountain resort driving stories if you people have them out there.
Yeah, let's hear some good stories.
Yeah, like, I know you guys have them out there. So, hit us up, leave them in the comments, and we'll go from there.